Okay, sir. Let us get started with PowerShell. So yesterday I couldn't have a class because there was a conflicting class with Jira, and today we have adjusted our class timelines. So let us continue with PowerShell. Right. Right, sir. Files, folders, and the registry. So this is what we'll be focusing towards, right? So in the last class I think we have looked at some of the providers, right? We have basically get into location of windows, we have looked into certifications or certificates, we have got into registry and all of that stuff, right? So today I'm going to speak about, okay, the first topic which I want to speak about is items. So what are these items, right? So support for */items, okay, commandlet varies from provider to provider, okay. So if you are working on file system drive provider, it will work in a different way. If you are working with a registry, it works with a different way, right? So this is if you are working with different kinds of providers, these items might work differently, right? So let us get started. How do I test for existing items, right? So PowerShell has something called as test-path, okay. So I again try to stress on this area. There is no need for you to remember this, okay. Just ensure that you know how to get the help of it. So I'll basically go with get-help test-path-online, right? So if you go over here there is a description saying that you can test the path, give the path over here. You can try to filter, you can include, you can try to tell what is the type of your path. There are examples over here. How do I test a path, right? How do I test a path for its existence? So what you do is, let us see for test path, test-path, and let us look out for this stuff, right? So over here only path is given in the square bracket, right? So that means that it might be a positional parameter. Let us see. Test-path C drive : temp. So it tells true, okay. So doing this or doing this is exactly same as per what we have understood, okay. So you can use this test path to find whether the existing items are available or not. So let me try to basically look into what are the different path types I will have. So let me get into parameters, and in parameters I am interested in path type, okay. Specifies the type of the final element of the path, okay, right? So you can have any container and leaf, right? Leaf, if you understand, basically it is nothing but your file, and container stands for your folder, right? So if you basically use the provider of this stuff. So let me try to tell test-path, okay, C : temp, and then if I try to give that my path type is leaf over here, okay, it tries to tell that it is false. Why is it false? Because leaf means that it is an end item. If you visualize, right, your directory structure, if you visualize your directory structure, let me quickly open the whiteboard, and then let me try to represent the directory stuffs, right? One moment, sir. Let me clear the canvas first. Okay, let me go with, right. So now if you take any directory, right, so generally if you are visualizing any directory, your directory might be C drive, and in this C drive you will have folders. So let me give a folder something like temp. Temp is a folder, right? Now inside temp, let us assume that I have a file called as test.txt, right? And then here I have a file which is called as test2.txt. If you see files will not have any children because they are leaves. Files will not have any children. But if you have folders, right? So if you basically look into this, I can create one more folder which is basically Windows, and in Windows I might have some other folders. I'm just representing slash with for directories. System, sorry, 32. Okay. System. Okay. This will have further children. So this goes on and on. But if you take the example of file over here, okay, files are considered as leaves because they end. Okay. And when you basically look at directories, right, directories are not leaves, they are containers. They contain some other items, right? So that is exactly what we were trying to achieve or look into this expression over here whenever we looked into this. Now if I try to tell that it can be any path type, it will give me the value of true. But if I try to tell that I want to check whether it is container or not, so how do I check if the particular folder exists or not, right? So to check for existence of folder, or file, okay, so in the scripts you might end up writing okay, test hyphen path, okay, and dollar folder path. Okay, so dollar folder path, whenever you see dollar, I am quite sure we understand that it is a variable. So dollar folder path is equals to C drive colon Windows colon system 32. All right. So now if you want to check, okay, to check if it is folder and whether it exists or not, okay, then the path type comes into play. So test hyphen path dollar folder path hyphen path type, right? In the path type, try to give something called as container. Okay, so to check if it is file and whether it exists or not, okay, dollar file path is equals to C colon test1.txt. This is a file, and then you would be using test hyphen path dollar file path hyphen path type, and then you would give it as leaf. So this is basically what you might end up doing, right? And since this returns true or false, we can use this in a conditional expressions like if. Okay, right, sir? So this is basically existence, right? Now creation. How can I create items? Creating and deleting items, right? So the new hyphen item commandlet, okay, can create files, directories, registry keys, okay, certificates. You can go on and on with respect to whatever providers which you have, okay, and also environmental variables, because the provider will be environment in that case. So let us try to give an example over here. Okay, let me go over here and then let me try to write new underscore item. So I'm creating something new. Okay, and then here what I'll try to basically give is, I'm trying to tell that, okay, I want to create a new file. Let me get into c:temp, cd c:, c:temp, and then let me try to give new hyphen item. I will never use any commandlet without knowing how to use it. So get help. And if you are working on a desktop kind of a machine, use hyphen online. Okay, so hyphen online. So if you look at it, it tries to tell that it helps you in creating a new item. So it tries to tell that how do you create a file in the current directory, how do you create a profile. There are many things which you can do with respect to this. Okay, I am not going to run through all the examples, but let us try to do some of the stuff, right? So new hyphen item. Okay, and then I am trying to tell that go and create an item in the current directory. Okay, so if you basically look at this command syntax, so if I don't give anything, it will automatically take it as path. Okay, so I'll try to tell that go and create an item which is called as test1.txt, and then hyphen item type. Okay, file. So if you go and look into this directory, let me open the directory. If you use start dot, are you seeing test1.txt? Right, now let me create a directory. So new item test1, and I can give the item type as directory. Okay, right? Similarly, I'll not be doing this, I'll not be executing this command. If you want to create a new registry key, right, you can try to tell that hklm. Okay, local machine. In local machine you have software. In software, go ahead and then create a new key, and in the item type try to write it as key. If you want to even play, you can play with registry values. You can play with registry values. Okay, right. Not only that, now from PowerShell 5, okay, new item is equals to test2.txt, and then let me write item type is equals to symbolic link. Okay, item type is equals to symbolic link. Okay, now hyphen value, right, hyphen value of it is test1.txt. now if you basically go into this folder, we have created test2.txt, which is a link to test1.txt. Am I clear on this, sir? So there is something called as hard link and soft link. This is basically brought in from Linux, right? And generally a hard link in the case of Windows is a link to another file on the same drive. Okay, symbolic link is a link to another file or a directory, right? So but to create symbolic links, you should be an admin. Okay, right, sir? Now whenever we create a file, obviously we would want to remove them also. So how do I remove them? So if new item is the command that is used to create the file, okay, and to delete the items, we have remove item commandlet. So now what you can do is you can go over here. Okay, let us try to remove whatever we have created. I can basically go over here and then I try to tell that, okay, remove hyphen item test2.txt, remove hyphen item test1, remove hyphen item, okay, test1.txt. so remove is deleting. Okay, now let me get alias. If you see, you will be seeing lot of aliases. get alias, and then let me use something called as grep. Okay, and then let me use a grep of something called as touch. Okay, touch is not available. CP. Oh, right, get alias hyphen, let me use more. Okay, cd. CP is copy item, if you see, right? If you see over here, we have something called as copy item, right? Okay, fine, sir. Okay, right. Now let us look out for item properties. Item properties, right? So let me go ahead and then quickly create again a file, new hyphen item test1.txt hyphen value. Let me try to tell this is a new file. Let us see what happens. Okay, so let me open that with a notepad or notepad++.exe. Anything is fine. Test1.txt. Are you saying this is a new file? I have created a file with this content. Okay, now basically let me try to see what are the properties which I have. Get hyphen help, get hyphen item property. So to fetch item properties or to deal with item properties, we have two commandlets, right? The first one being get item property, and the second one being set item property. All right, good. Now let me try to basically get the help of this hyphen online. Okay, so here you will try to get the item property, and then you can give the item property of anything and you will fetch the properties. Get the property of a specific file. You can go ahead and basically do anything, right? You can get item properties for many different things in here depending on what provider you are working on. Now let me get item property of test1.txt. It is trying to tell that these are the following properties which you have. Okay, right. Now can I add 5 attributes? Right? So let us see what are the different attributes which I can basically add for a file. Okay, so a file, right, has following possible attributes. Okay, name, compressed, okay, archive, system, hidden, and read only. Okay, right? So now if I want to set any file to be read only, let us see if I can do that. So I am trying to tell that set hyphen item property, okay, test1.txt hyphen name is read only. Okay, hyphen value $true. Now after that you do get item property of test1.txt, right? You are not seeing anything with respect to here yet. Now let me try to basically put dot is read only. Are you seeing this? Okay, so the is only flag reflects only after basically you have set the values. right? So let me try to do this stuff now. Get hyphen item, okay, test1.txt, and for this let me look out for attributes, right? So these are the attributes that probably are shown over here, okay, right sir? So basically if you want to set any of the attributes, you can basically always set the attributes of it. So for example, let me set the attributes of this, okay. So for example, I'll try to tell that, okay, new hyphen item, okay, test2.txt, okay, get hyphen item, okay, test2.txt, and then I'll store that in a variable $file, okay. Now let me go to the web, okay, and then get hyphen item PowerShell. So if you see, whenever I execute get underscore item, I get an object of type object over here, okay, right? And to that I am trying to set the attributes $file, and now I'll try to tell that $file dot attributes, okay, plus equals to read only, okay. Now let me try to execute $file dot attributes. Sorry, I think it is trying to tell that it is read only, archive, and non-content indexed, okay. So if you want to make it hidden, add the hidden attribute to it. So you can add attributes to your file, okay, right? So similarly you can deal with registry values, but registry values is beyond the scope of what we discuss in this classroom, so I'm not getting into it, okay, right? Now permissions, right? So whenever we deal with file system, we will have some sort of permissions to deal with, So how do I basically deal with permissions? To deal with permissions we have two commandlets, okay. So generally whenever you're writing a script, all of this will come into play. Get hyphen ACL and set hyphen ACL, okay. So as usual, I want to work on this. What is it I'd be doing? I'd be going into to find the online help. Get help, get hyphen ACL hyphen online, okay. So this gives basically security descriptor of it, okay. Get a ACL for the folder. Let me try to get the ACL. So get ACL for my current folder, which is C:temp. It is trying to tell that this is basically your current attributes. These are your current permissions, okay. What is the path? Who is the owner? What is the access which you have? What is that you are trying to basically achieve, okay. Now if you want, you can try to write something where you can format this. So I'll try to execute the same stuff and pipe the output to this. So here it gives me something which looks like this, okay, right sir? Now basically what I want to do is I want to create multiple files. In temp directory, okay. So let me quickly write a PowerShell commandlet for that, or PowerShell script for that. Okay, I think we were storing that stuff in C drive, PowerShell, a Windows server, and let me create a new folder called as permissions. Okay, and let me open this with Visual Studio Code. Okay, right. So let me close all the existing editors and let me get into permissions, and then let me try to permission demo dot file ends with .ps1. Okay, now what I'll try to do is I'll try to create a new item, okay, which is C drive colon temp. Okay, for you basically try to create this, and inside this I'll be creating something called as ACL. Okay, and then I'll try to tell that my item type is directory and I want it to be created at any cost. Then what I'll try to do is I'll try to tell that 1:5, or let me make it 7. Okay, for every item between 1 to 7 for each object. Okay, now try to create a new item, new hyphen item. Where do I want to create this new item? New item I want to create in this. Okay, so I'll be trying to tell that create a new item. Okay, create a new item in /$_, right? And what I want to tell is I want to tell that item type is directory and hyphen force. Okay, right. So I want to create a new item over here. Okay, fine. Then not only that, basically what I want to do along with that is this will create certain folders. Let us see what this file does. Okay, there is no need for us to worry about anything. Let me click on run, start debugging. Okay, new item. Okay, so if you see, if you get into C drive temp ACL, it has created 7 directories. It has created 7 directories. Okay, good. So now if I want, I can basically go ahead and then create many more directories, but it's okay. Okay, inside this, if you want to create files, what you can try to do is, okay, $current directory path is equals to this. Okay, new item $current directory path. Now over here within this what you can do is you can create other items also if you want. So I'll try to tell that. Okay, 3::5 for each object. Okay, and then $file current file underscore path. Okay, let me put it as 1:5. Current file underscore path is equals to $current dir underscore path slash $underscore .txt. Let me put all of this in double quotes. Right. Now I will try to tell that new hyphen item. Okay, hyphen item type or $current file underscore path. This is $current dir path. Right, sir. $current dir path hyphen item type is file, and then hyphen force. Okay. Now I'll go and remove this ACL directory. Okay, let us see what happens now. I'll try to directly run it. Run without debugging. So if you go into this ACL, in ACL there is 1 to 2 directories, and if you get into this, in this each file will be created with this, which is of 1 to 5, which is of 1 to 5, right? Am I clear on this? So can I create multiple directories now? Okay. Now for these each directories, okay, we need to understand what are the properties or security which I had be basically giving. Okay, so there are some questions, guys. Let me hold on for a second. Sri Kruti Aditya, do you have, sir, madam, this is a PowerShell class and Python class is scheduled at 6:15. Okay, so 6:20 actually, so you can enroll to that. Right now this is a PowerShell class, so let us stick it to PowerShell. And Sai Rachakonda, DevOps demo. Sir, for DevOps demo, please go into qualitythought.insight, sir. And this is not DevOps demo, this is PowerShell class, which is a continuation class, sir. Okay, right, fine. Now I can create some directories and some files within here. Now for each of these items I can get what is my access control list, and I can basically try to change the owner of it, right, if I want to, right? So for that there is get ACL and set ACL. Right? So now let me play around with this get ACL. Get ACL C:, or in the current directory there is something called as ACL. Okay, so now if you remember, we have discussed on get member function. Okay, if you see, there are many things which I can basically get from this. Okay, right. So now what I'll try to do is get ACL of this, and now from all of this there is no need for everything, but just select the object, okay, and expand the property which is called as access. So it tries to tell that the access will be, what are the accesses that you have on this particular folder. You are getting all of the accesses. And even in this, if you don't want to see everything, you can go one level deeper and then just see whatever you are interested in, whatever you are interested in. Okay, so similarly, like get ACL, I can basically deal with set ACL methods, right? So whenever we deal with directories, right, the permissions will have some kind of inheritance. Whatever permissions which you give to the parent will also be applicable to the child. Okay, there are some inheritance and propagations that would happen, right, sir? Okay, now let me basically go ahead, and for the people who have forgot what we have discussed in the last class, if you remember, we have spoken about this. In my current system, I have these many providers at this moment. Okay, right? So these are the providers, and then you can use any amount of providers which you are interested in, right, sir? Okay, now basically, okay, whenever we are dealing with files, you would end up doing all of this, right? So now let me speak about, okay, I'll give the script also. Okay, sample script to create files and folders. Okay, right. So in Linux shell, in Linux world, we have a Linux way of logging in into your servers by using something called as SSH. Okay, So how about Windows? Do I need to do with remote desktop every time, or is there something that Microsoft has given us? Is there something that Microsoft has given us, right? So our next steps are remoting and remote management. So we will try to look into how to deal with this, right, sir? At this point, I want to reiterate. Okay, so I would be using servers very soon. So ensure that you have at least one cloud account where you can create servers and then basically practice. We will be looking at WS management. We'll be looking at PowerShell sessions. We'll be looking into these kind of activities, sir. Right? PS remoting. Right? WinRM is what it is called as, Windows remoting. And we need to understand this. Okay, and we would see how we can remote over Linux, and we would look into PowerShell also over here. Linux, anyway, we have looked into Linux classes, but here our focus will be more towards the PowerShell sessions. Right, sir? Okay, so hopefully after this topic, okay, we'll be writing some scripts, and then we will be getting into Active Directory, sir. So Active Directory is extremely important for us to understand. We'll be doing with Active Directory. So for this week, we will be focusing on writing scripts and understanding this remoting. And then once we do both of them, from next week we will be focusing on how to deal with Active Directory. So these will be our next steps. Okay. So and I have to, after we finish all of that, then I'll speak about PowerShell DSC. If you guys want to listen to that, or if you are willing to, okay, that depends on the feedback which I receive. Okay, otherwise I'll deal with PowerShell servers, Active Directory, and DSC depends on how engaged you are, right? Okay, sir. So I think I'll stop it at that, because I don't want to start the remoting session today, because it will not be completed anyway. Okay, we'll be discussing about this topic in our next session. That is what I had for the day, sir, and we'll be meeting again tomorrow to continue this discussion. And for the people who are attending Python live classes, yeah, Python live classes will start. Live class will start on the scheduled time at 6:20. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time.